Hey everyone, Interactive Sage here with another YouTube video, and today we're going to be talking about how to make a successful group on Roblox. And it's by me, so um, before we do get into this, I would like to talk to you about my experience here and why I'm making this video. I have searched through YouTube for the past, and I've seen some interesting videos created by users talking about how to make a successful group. And these videos are accurate, and I still highly recommend, if you're confused on this video, to check out the others. This is our first episode of our 5-part episodes on making a successful group, because we're going to go more in depth than those YouTubers have ever did. However, and also I've looked at the YouTube videos on some of them. They're made in 2013, not in 2020. So this will be probably the highest, most detailed video on how to make a Roblox group successfully than probably any other video on the platform. So I hope you enjoy. Let's get into it, shall we? Um, Before I do, again, I've joined Roblox since 2015. Actually, technically 2014, but I switched my accounts. But I had 125 groups on this platform. All right, this is sad, but almost all of my groups except one failed miserably. It failed. There was, but there was nothing that I could have done. However, it's always good to fail than to succeed because you get to learn from your previous mistake. I take it back, it's not 125 times, but I have failed over at least 30 times here. But it's always good to fail than it is to succeed because you learn your mistake. So you can improve on it and keep on improving until you then succeed. All right, let's get into it, shall we? First of all, let's understand infrastructure. Infrastructure is the physical or organizational structures or facilities needed for an operation, society, or enterprise. What I like to do is what I think of the definition. By the way, it's from Google. What I think of an infrastructure is I think it's a platform where it's based off of basically customers, staff, and then the higher ups. And here's why I like to call it infrastructure, because everyone's doing the job and they're contributing to that infrastructure to make it bigger, better, and stronger. Now let's look at an average group that has 100,000 members at least. They have the following. They have advertisements easily. They have community sponsorships and affiliates. I will later go in depth in why affiliates is important and sponsorships is important, as well as advertisements and the rest. Staff automatically are hosting shifts daily. That's good. And that's actually the best thing that you can do, activity. And again, I'm going to explain more in depth in our other episodes. Making more money from merchandise or Roblox premium payouts. It has a good reputation, and it has a good professional and friendly environment to work at. Now, the last one is the most extremely important one. I tip that it's one of the higher priorities that you want to try to make your group based on, is because if you don't create a professional and a friendly environment for your staff members at your company is slowly going to diminish. And your company is slowly going to close down and go into an inactive state where people can abuse their powers, basically screw up your group. And you do not want that. You want to build that professional standpoint. Now let's look at your group. You have 0 members. Well, I'm going to assume you have 0 members. If you have 100K, good job for you. You are starting up with a small business, and the other thing that you have is starting off fresh with no reputation at all, which is good and bad because you don't want a bad reputation, but at the same time you're losing on the good reputation. So no one doesn't even know about your group yet. So let's continue on. Let's think about your group for a second. Your group is important to everything. It will help build your brand that you would like it to be. And it allows you to answer the question why people want to join my group. Why offer what offers does my group bring to the table than others? These are important questions to ask yourself because you're going to be asked these questions later on. And these questions are basically the basic foundations of building your own enterprise slash group on Roblox. It there is approximately 1 billion users on Roblox, at least. And every day they make a choice if they want to be in a group. Why do they want to be in the group? Why do they want to choose your group over than the other a million groups that are on the platform? So, let's continue on. I just wanted to describe that to you. Thinking about your group is important since you need to describe what your group is and what's it all about to a new user that's interested in joining. So let's take a place like Group Recruiting Plaza for example, which I'll go into more in depth later and see why it's effective or ineffective. I'm settling on a point where it's neutral, but however, I'm going to go in depth in a later video. Um, this will allow the new user to have a better understanding of your group and to better understand why you created it and what's your story here. And I bet you, if you thought about your group and you thought about what you wanted to do or what important things you would like to put on your group, then your group, I highly bet, will succeed. Or at least it will help, it will definitely give the user the understanding, at least, of everything that you created and the story behind your group. Now let's continue on. Let's come with the essentials. This episode is going to be for essentials, and then we're going to move on to in-depths like advertising, marketing, getting people to your game, getting people to your group, etc. And why it's important to have a Discord. uh, now let's continue on. We are all done thinking about what kind of group we would like our company to be at. Let's make our essentials. We're going to talk about our logo for a second. So, if you are a newbie at creating logos, let's say that you are not a graphical designer or you don't even know where to begin in graphical design, I'm going to recommend two options. One, you could hire a graphics designer. I will admit, graphics designers, especially professional graphic designers, which I'll also in our next video will explain more in depth about where to find them. But graphical designers allow basically a lot of possibilities than yourself if you're a newbie, because they can create GFX, which is awesome, which we'll go in depth later. They can create logos that are very professional and eye catching, etc. However, they might be expensive to your taste. I found one for 200 Robux, which is a steal if you think about it. A good professional logo from one of my local friends. But if case you don't have a friend or you don't want to search on the web or you don't want to spend your money, then you could just choose the free resources. That, by the way, that are online resources and you don't have to download them and they're free. You can choose resources like Canva or Pixlr. If you don't have any experience with regular Photoshop or just would like a free non-downloadable program to help create your logo, I recommend these programs. Uh, my recommendation, if you are a newbie and you're creating your own logo, is to take your time and try your best. Even if your logo doesn't meet your expectations, still publish. Because all logos are bad at the beginning, including basic groups like Google and Apple. Those logos were bad back then, but now they're very modernized, very professional, but it took a lot of time and work and effort to create those logos. So don't worry. As long as you keep on trying every single week or month about your creating your logo, you're going to get to the point where it's going to be professional to you. Now let's talk about our name for the company that you would like to create. I recommend creating an original company and especially 100% not copyrighted because you don't want your group having a bad reputation and then someone submitting a form to Roblox that your group could be taken down, or better for worse, you could get banned or more into. I'm not going to go in depth, but just don't do that. And lastly, we are going to. It needs to be representable and fits your community's style or original purpose. Let's talk about our description. Our description will easily allow users to see what this group is about and what the sole purpose or the story is about too. The best descriptions make sure for the best descriptions make sure to keep it relevant and original to your group's playstyle or sole purpose. Basically, keep it original. That's basically the thing that people like, and the more honest you are to them, the more likely they're going to join. And especially a name like McDonald's, it's a friendly environment. You get to eat there, etc. And it's best to list what your company is all about from our thinking session earlier in the video. So, because again, there's going to be a lot of people coming on to your group, reading the description of your group, believe it or not, to see what's all about, and they're new. So, and you're not there to explain them, so it's also better to put it in the description as well. Make sure to keep it relevant, by the way. And it's extremely important to take your time on this. You can always re edit it later if you don't like it, but it's extremely important to take your time on this because this is going to be on the web too. If you search up your group on Google and you have your description filled out perfectly, it's going to be ranked a lot higher than the rest. So I highly recommend you take your time getting the description of your group done. That's about it for the YouTube video right now. This is again part one of this this is series one, episode one. There are 5 other videos that we are going to publish. Um, Before I do go, I'm just going to say that we are going to do more series like this in the future. What I mean is that for every weekend at least, I'll try to make sure to publish one episode for this series, and I'll try not to make it a 17-minute long episode. So have a great day. Peace.